I might swerve in that corner, whoa. Hold on tight, cause I tweaking this telling you go. And I heard that she wanna show me who she be. I'm kinda f***ing with it, show me some more. She be tatted head to toe, could give a story rope. You wanna tweak it up.
The Final Four is officially set, and it's all number one seeds for the first time since 2008. Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston are the final four teams remaining. Welcome, everybody, to the March Madness series presented by Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. I am Adam Banks, joined by my March Madness crew, Jordan Conatser, Zach Hahn, and Chad Rainwater. We are here to discuss or review the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games, and we will give you our updated Final Fours. What a weekend of games it was. We want to start off talking about the Sweet 16 first, but first of all, let me welcome in my sports crew. Guys, how's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah, doing great.
It's week 3 of this. It's only one more week. It's kind of a sad time, though, to start looking forward to know that next week's going to be our last show until next year, though.
I know, and I always get a little concerned with our last episode of this series because we don't have a lot of content to discuss because we only get to really discuss 3 games, the 2 Final Four games, and then the championship game, and then we got to fill another 35 minutes of content. It makes it a little rough.
I think we say that every year, but remember last year we were kind of worried going into it, but remember that was the same day that we actually hired Pope. We hadn't hired Pope. It was when Cal left.
Did Pope become the coach while we were doing the series?
No, it was a couple of days later. I think that day was the day that Cal left officially, or maybe he officially signed with Arkansas, because I think that was the day that he had his press conference in Arkansas. So I think that was the day. So you never know. You still got a week. I don't think nothing that crazy is going to happen. But
I don't know. I feel like that's when the crazy stuff happens, like right around this time, because the coaching carousel spins out of control.
At least, yeah, that is very true. Yeah, I mean, we've already had a lot of coaches go different places this year. But at least there will be 4 of us next week. I think there's been times where it's just been 2 of us. Last year there was 3, so at least we'll all be together and we'll have some input.
Normally start to just fall apart. The show does at that time. I mean, like I know we get paid a lot to do this, and it's just like so hard to back out on that. But usually we do.
Listen, if Duke wins the championship, you might have to count me on next week. I don't know if I can do it.
That's very true too. Yeah.
Oh, says the Duke fan over there. Well, we talked about Mark Pope opening up the show, so let's go ahead and talk about his performance in the Sweet 16. I think everybody was just happy to see the first year Mark Pope coach get into the Sweet 16. Unfortunately, it didn't go well for him. He got defeated by Tennessee. Kentucky never had control of that game at all.
You kind of could tell how that game was going to go after I think it was our first shot. I think Kobe Bryant had missed a layup, and I was like, "Oh no, this is just how it's going to go." But yeah, I don't know what the heck happened. The good thing about that game is you knew 5 minutes in that it wasn't going to be close at all, and that it wasn't going to be a nerve wrecker. You know, it was just going to be one of those games like we had previously this year, where we just started out slow and just tried to chip away, and it just didn't happen.
We couldn't do anything against the Tennessee defense. I mean, we had six threes the entire game.
Right.
Like,
just got out rebounded too.
They had I think one less offensive rebound than we had defensive rebounds. Like, you have to get a rebound in order to beat a team like that, and you have to hit threes, and we didn't do either.
Yeah, they had 19. Tennessee finished with 19. Or we finished with 19 rebounds total, and Tennessee finished with 13 offensive rebounds.
Do you think it was the stage that intimidated Mark Pope? I mean, it was the biggest stage of his career, first Sweet 16. I don't know. Do you think it was just a lack of confidence? Because that did not seem like a Kentucky team.
It didn't, but I guess just taking the optimistic view, I'm just going to say that it was a talent thing and that our luck kind of ran out against Tennessee. But yeah, it was a depressing game. I'm not gonna lie, it had me down.
All season we would throw in a clunker like that. Like, if we were not hitting our threes, we were gonna throw a clunker and we're gonna lose by 20, and we did that several times this year.
Yeah, that to me though, that's probably like the biggest point of improvement for the program going forward. Is like we've got to reduce the number of games that we have where we're just not competitive at all.
Well, I think you're gonna go. I mean, we talked about it in earlier shows. We're not gonna be getting the sixth men from D2 schools or, mid majors. We're going to be getting, star athletes now that we have time to recruit. So I don't think you're going to have this issue anymore after this year.
If you look at our losses from this past season, there was only a couple that were close losses, and most of them were about 12, 15 points, which is weird because we had a lot of good wins, but a lot of the losses were games just like that Tennessee game where we started out slow and just struggled the whole way.
The sleeper team of the Sweet 16, I think the team that everybody was surprised to see in the Sweet 16 was BYU. Their little run came to an end against Alabama. Alabama was the better team that night. I think they've been the better team all year. BYU, they tried hard. You got to give it up again for another first-year coach making it to such a big stage, but he fell short when it mattered.
BYU is going to be back a lot, so get used to it. They have the number one player. He's a generational talent coming in next year, freshman kid.
Yeah, and you said they had the number one NIL budget too, just before we got on the air.
They have one of their top donors is he handpicked the coach.
Yeah.
And then that's how they're pretty much unlimited budget for him right now until the rules change.
Wow.
Michigan State, too. I want to talk about that game. Michigan State, Ole Miss. That was a coaching battle between Beard and Tom Izzo. Now, when you guys seen Michigan State advance to the Elite Eight, when they won that game, were you sitting there? Was I in the back of anybody's mind thinking, oh, Banks is full of crap? He called Izzo overrated. Did anybody, I don't know, kind of laugh or giggle at the fact that he advanced? Or
I had a feeling that Michigan State was going to win this game, but they trailed for most part of this game against Ole Miss, and I think Ole Miss even had a lead pretty late into the game. And we've said it over and over again how good Izzo is in March, so I wasn't surprised by this at all.
Was there any other game in the Sweet 16 that you guys just watched and thought it stood out? Looks pretty chalky.
I think we're missing an important one. Arkansas and Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arkansas and Texas Tech. What happened to Arkansas?
Cal's
Crickets.
game plan.
Cal's the coach. That's what happened to him.
Not game plan, but pressure situation management.
What were they up like 13 with 10 minutes to go?
No,
16.
they were up 16 at one point. They were up 13 with like halfway through the second half. I went to bed. They were up 13. I was just pissed off because I was like, man, I can't believe that Arkansas is going to win in advance. I was so mad. And I was like, what? Because they just held the lead the whole way through the second half, and Texas Tech couldn't hit anything. I fall asleep and wake up in the middle of the night and saw that they had blown a 16-point second half lead. I was like, oh my gosh.
You ended up trolling some Arkansas fans and getting into it with them, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up a little bit later once we get to the well, I guess we can talk about it now because
Yeah,
it
go
was
ahead.
Sweet 16.
What happened?
Yeah.
So after the game against Tennessee, I was down, and one of my things I like to do is go online and troll people just for the fun of it. I mean, because I see people
It's
bashing
a
on
healthy habit.
Yeah, right. I see people bashing on Pope in Kentucky, and I just got to take it from my team and my coach. And but actually, I ended up with in an argument with some Arkansas fans. There was a post made on Facebook about how Pope and Calipari both lost in the Sweet 16, and I made a comment and was like, yeah, but one coach put their team together in only 3 weeks. And the Arkansas fans just came out, man. They were like, how do you explain pigs in a
Do the
group?
accent.
I heard
Do
it.
the accent.
Do the
Yeah.
accent.
You mean do that?
Yeah, the
accent?
Arkansas fan accent.
Yeah, it was pretty accurate.
Yeah, so I said that, and they were just coming after me like, man, you were so dumb. You don't even watch college basketball. Calipari didn't have nobody coming to his team. Pope had 2 or 3 guys from BYU, and you're just so dumb. You're such an idiot. Cal was the best coach ever. He had no talent on his team. He did so good with his team, and I was like, you guys freaking blew a 16-point lead last night. And I was like, enjoy this ride because this is the best Cal's going to be here. So just enjoy it. But I love going after them because they attacked me. Like I said, I don't know what a group of pigs are called. What are they called? A herd of pigs? That's not right. That's cows. But they were like, whoa, pig suey. And but the thing was,
Is
like,
it a sty of pigs, or is what's a pig sty?
pig styles.
Nah, that's where they live.
You know what I'm saying? Like you
Okay.
open
I
the
thought they lived
gates
in
and the
the parlor.
pigs just flood at you. It was just a flood of
swarm,
pigs.
a swarm.
A swarm of pigs coming after me. And I was like, this is crazy. It got like 500 likes on it and 200 comments. It was crazy. Eventually, I just had to stop because I was like, this is pointless. Like these these Arkansas fans just love Cal so much that they're not gonna like give in. But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I think we can say Arkansas is like the enemy of the cast at this point. Like
Yes.
they've popped up so many times over the years, and this is just a exclamation point on that.
Oh, I love that they blew the lead.
You were attacked by a drove of pig suites.
Drove of
of
pigs.
pig suites.
And you got like over 200 comments on your
Yeah,
post.
over 200 comments and like 500 likes.
That's what you get when you get on a national website and post something.
Did you get 500 likes or 500 dislikes? It sounds like
500
everybody disliked you.
500 reactions.
A lot of mean faces.
400. It was like 430 reactions. I don't know, but it was mostly for the most part it was Arkansas fans.
I have to agree with you though. I do think this is the high water mark of the Cal era at Arkansas. I don't know about you guys, but I don't see them getting this far again.
That's what my argument was. I mean,
Cal he'll be back next year. He's not at Kentucky anymore. He'll be back next year in the Sweet 16 at Arkansas. As much as I hate to say it,
You think that's his ceiling though? Sweet 16s.
Probably. You got to watch more game film than Little House on the Prairie to get past the Sweet 16.
I think Cal's rejuvenated. I think he'll make. I hate to say it, Cal will make, if he stays at Arkansas for 5 years, he'll make a Final Four.
Ooh,
write that down.
yeah, there we go. I'm saving that drop for the next show. Well, we got to wait till 5 years to see if that happens. But I was kind of indifferent on that game. There was times I wanted to see Cal lose because Cal's so cocky, and I love to see cocky people fall. I do. But then again, I was kind of rooting for Cal just to make the Maddenites mad, just so they would get irritated if he won.
The what, mad?
The Maddenites. That's what I call the Matt Jones followers. It's the Maddenites. But he ended up losing the game, and it ended up being glorious all as I'll ever get, because it was just fun to see him fall.
Yeah, especially in that fashion, right? To have that huge lead and just blow it.
So we got let's see. Florida, obviously they swept through Maryland. Texas Tech beat, yes. Arkansas, we've got
Houston and Purdue ended on a buzzer beater.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
That's exactly how Houston's been winning close games all year. It's just like look at their schedule. They've won so many close games. He's the anti-Cal, Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah, I still believe that Kelvin Sampson's one of the most underrated coaches in college basketball.
Yeah, he don't get a lot of praise.
No, he's been knocking at the door for the past few years. I had some I don't know where it's at, but just looking at his last 5 seasons, I think he'd gone to like two Sweet 16, a Final Four this year, an Elite 8. Maybe 2 Final Fours.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but you give that man the clipboard with the basketball court outline on there in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game and just let him cook.
And then finally, the final game, Duke slid by Arizona pretty easily. I think after that performance, everybody was high on Duke as their favorite. I don't know about you guys after seeing that performance. We won't get to the Elite 8 just yet, but that performance against Arizona was just dominating throughout. What they win by 20, 25 points?
I feel like they're winning every game right now by 20 points. Duke looks really good, and I hate to say that.
And that, folks, was the Sweet 16. We've got the Elite 8 to talk about, and we will talk about it after these words. Stick with us.
Life goes on, honey, and her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. High key, keep a horn on me. That could my CIP. Ownership, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off at my feet.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks presents the March Madness series. I'm Adam Banks, joined by my March Madness crew, Jordan Conatser, Zach Hahn, and Chad Rainwater. We open the show talking about the Sweet 16 games. We now have an Elite 8, but before we get to the Elite 8, I want to update everyone on the OTC Bracket Challenge. You can check your bracket at facebook.com/off the cuff with Adam Banks. I want to go over the top 5. Neither of us here at this table are in the top 5. Number 1 is the answer key. There's that Roman numeral again. 4, 5, 6, 7.
8. We got it wrong last time.
The answer key 8. Kingra 23. False Hopes of Rabasha. 28 Dale 28. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Nicole Zetzel. Ooh. Most of these people have Duke winning the championship. So if Florida or Michigan State wins, those guys are going to move far up on the list. Chad, you are leading the bracket challenge out of all of us, sitting at a crisp 8. What's the secret?
I don't know, but I think I'm due. There's no chance of me winning this. I wasn't third last night until I had Michigan State beating Auburn, which I don't know why I had that pick. I think I put it in my gut bracket and stuck with it. But there's no chance that I win, but it was nice to be up in the top 5 there for a couple of days.
Yeah, no, the chalk strategy definitely paid out with first time since 2008.
Yep, 2008.
All ones, but the real standings are on the forecast tab, and so basically there's 8 ways the Final Four can turn out. There's 7 people that still have a chance to win, according to this. As long as Auburn wins, Nicole Zettel will take it. Any of the other 6 chances that you could have, because Auburn wins 2, there's 6 of us that could still win. So yeah, the points for the Final Four are just so high that like the current standings isn't even really like it's about having the champ and the runner up.
Yeah, it's never over until it's over because people don't understand. You get your points in these final rounds. I mean, the championship gets 1,000 points.
I'll say no matter what, we do not have to worry about me. I believe I'm in 178th place.
Yeah,
out of 140.
Well, maybe I'm just clinging to straws over here with Houston and hoping that I need Houston to beat Florida. If that happens, I pull it off. But that could just be some false hopes.
I heard you saying the word "us" earlier when you were talking about it, including yourself in there. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, no, I guess
Oh, you're a part of Houston now.
Yeah, I think I've got the false hopes of Rashaba.
So you'll win the tournament. You'll win this.
I could if I get that. You got to have 3 games go for me, and so same for everybody else except Nicole.
Well, keep checking your bracket, folks, because like I said, it is not over until it's over. Let's talk about the standout games from the Elite Eight. Tennessee, yes, they slid by Kentucky pretty easily, but Houston was a force to reckon with, and Houston took home the gold there, making it to the Final Four. They defeated Tennessee. Tennessee kind of looked like Kentucky in their last battle with Tennessee. So I don't know. What happened to Tennessee? They just fell apart.
15 points is the fewest first half points by any top 2 seed in any NCAA tournament game of all time. So that's great.
Wow. Like including like the old days when they had like a peach basket up there?
Right. Also, Tennessee has the most wins without a Final Four appearance in the history of college basketball. So that's also great. So Tennessee fans, you can also suck it because you only made it 1 round further than Kentucky did.
Yeah, I agree. Florida, I want to spend some time talking about Florida. They defeated Texas Tech.
That was a good game. Great
game. Barely won, but they made it to the Final Four. I sent a text to you guys after they won. I think Florida, that win, their advancement to the Final Four just kind of solidifies them as a top 10 college basketball program. I don't know who you can put in front of them. If you sit down to make a top 10 list and Florida's not in your top 10, I'm just curious who you have in front of them.
Are you saying all time?
All time.
You got to do some research on that. I would say since 2000, 100%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida, and you got to think, they've had success now with 2 coaches, which kind of just adds to their repertoire, adds to their credibility. It's not all Donovan. It's now being done by the youngest coach ever to make it to a Final Four. I think he's 38, 39. I really thought his career was over because I don't know if you all remember the little scandal that come out about, what's his face?
Todd Golden.
Todd Golden, yeah. They said that he was texting or stalking some college students. I don't know if there was any truth to that. Apparently not.
I think it all came out to be false, and I'm glad because he's a heck of a coach, and I love him in the conference.
If it was 2019, 2020, yeah, he'd have been done, but it's 2025, and he's still trucking there in the Final Four.
Yeah, give it to him. Despite all the the scandals that he was dealing with, to take a team to a Final Four is pretty impressive, if you ask me.
One person that I think, Walter Clayton Jr. deserves all the praises. That kid is hitting big shot after big shot after big shot. Like his last shot the other day, I think it was to take the lead. He like dribbled in, turned around, ran back outside, and then just turned around real quick and took a fadeaway 3, and he just went in. I was just like, oh my God, this kid. And he did it the game before, too. Like, he is just that good.
Whatever he wants, he gets it. That was like a video game shot.
No, it really was. And he's playing. I mean, I believe he had 30 points in the last game.
Yeah, 30 points.
So he's crazy to watch. Like you said, they were down 10 with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah,
And
they
went
were
on
down
a-
10 with like 2 minutes to go. It was
Yeah,
it was a
and
crazy
Tech-
run that they run on.
It
Texas
was-
Tech didn't really make a lot of mistakes either. That was like Florida coming back and winning it.
Florida had the white kid hit 2 quick threes, and then Walter Clayton just turned into Walter Clayton again and just started nailing them. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think a guy that kind of goes unnoticed with Florida is Thomas Houck. He had 20 points in this game. It's one of his bigger games. I had never even heard about him. I haven't watched a lot of Florida games, but I knew about Elijah Martin and Clayton and they're big men. But
And they also have that kid that's like 8'9" on their bench who hasn't played yet. I'm curious to see him play in the future. Y'all know who I'm talking about?
yeah,
The guy that cut the nets
I
down.
can't remember Oliver
7'9".
or something.
Yeah.
He's huge. I mean, he's skinny, but he's tall.
Well, Florida, if they win the national championship, that's their third championship. I'll go back to the top 10. If you're looking at your top 10, all schools in the top 10 have 3 or more. So they have to be in there. I don't see how you can't put them in the top 10 greatest of all time when they've got 3.
I mean, at this point, like they're going to be competing with like what UNLV's, NC State, Villanova. So I'd say Florida's firmly in there especially with the conference they're in the SEC. I think Florida's a top 10 program basketball wise of all time at this point.
Yeah, Tennessee still no Final Fours.
Tennessee can't. No, you're not allowed. If you've not been to a Final Four, no, you cannot.
No.
You can't even be in the top 25.
No.
They have to be one of the biggest programs to never make it to a
Right.
Final Four because
Yeah.
they've been relevant for years. Even going back to the early 2000s, mid 2000s, they've been solid every year. But I just don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's cursed, if they're cursed, or what the
I
deal
hope
is.
so.
But that's
I
fine with
hope
me.
so.
That's fine.
Another SEC team making it to the Final Four. Auburn defeated Michigan State. Down goes Izzo. That's where that overratedness comes into play. I was so happy to see Izzo lose. I don't want to see Auburn win it all, but I was rooting for them in that game, mainly because I like Bruce Pearl. I like the SEC. It makes us look good. It makes us more credible as a conference. Auburn looks good. Florida and Auburn, wow, what a matchup that's going to be. Cannot wait to see it. But did anybody think that Michigan State at any point would come back? I mean, they ended up only losing by 6 or 7 when it was all said and done, but they just ran out of time.
No, not really. If it was the other way around, I'd have thought maybe Michigan State could hold on. But when they got down like that, you're not coming back like that on Auburn. They have too many ways they can beat you.
Yeah. Also, they kind of went on a run because Auburn lost Janai Broom for a little bit in the second half, and it was kind of a bit of a scare because you didn't know how bad his arm injury was, and that would have been horrible for them. Trying to make it to a Final Four. But yeah, I think even with when Broom went out, I think Auburn held a 8-10 point lead all the way through. But yeah, they just I didn't get to watch this game at all. But when I turned on the score for the first time, it was 23-8, and you knew right then that Auburn was just going to be way too much for Michigan State.
I thought Alabama would play Duke a little bit better. Duke ended up winning that game by 20 points, 85-65 Duke. Alabama, the reason I thought they would give them a better game, they played in a better conference all year long. Duke played in the ACC. I thought, well, when they've got competition in front of them, they're not going to do very well. But again, Duke just keeps proving why they're Duke, why they're a blue blood, and it's just Alabama. Down goes Nate Oates. Again, another coach I was happy to see lose. I told you guys how I feel about him. Don't like him very much.
I mean, I was going for Alabama in this game. I cheered for them really, really hard just because how much I
Right.
hate Duke this season. But Duke just played a hell of a game. Great. Just gameplay wise from John Shire. I can't think of his name there for a second, but just shut Alabama down because they rely so much on the 3-pointers, and they just wasn't. That was their main goal, was to keep them from hitting threes, and it worked. Like, I did not see Auburn or Alabama losing this game by 20 points, but Duke led the whole entire game by almost double digits.
Yeah, it was a real snooze fest. I was out of the Elite Eight games, I was most excited for that one. I thought this could really be a classic, and it just wasn't even close.
No, I think everybody looked forward to this game, and like you said, it wasn't
Did
close from
not
the start.
deliver.
I didn't even make it to halftime. I was pretty sleepy, so I was gonna have to leave this one to y'all to talk about.
Yeah, I think Duke led by 8 or 10 and a half,
Listen,
and it was never a game.
all the games. Is this always like the thing where all these games come on late, like 10 o'clock games and stuff? Like, there's only 4 games on in a day. Why do we have a 10 o'clock game right
I
now?
do feel like they've backed it up a little bit.
Like, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna sound old right now, but like
You do.
at 9:30, I'm kind of ready to go to bed.
No, I feel you. I do. I feel you. I think they just play around with the times to just see what sticks.
It's like you look at it, like the first game the other night was like, what, 9-10 or something, and the next game was at 10-20, and I'm just like, how does that work? Like, even for the West Coast, like, that still puts the game at 6 p.m. Like you have to fit that in. It's crazy how late these games are starting now.
Oh, I guess you won't be watching the championship game then. I think it starts at like 9:20.
It probably started like 1 o'clock in the morning. But that's how I kind of see the NCAA working right now.
That's way too late. 9:20.
I think it's like 9:10 actually, but I feel like a couple of years ago it was like 9:30,
Yeah,
and
I
they
feel
backed
like
it up.
it's
They
always
pushed it
9.
up a little bit, but
Well, that makes the Final Four set Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston, and we will review that Final Four, folks, after these words. Stick with us.
San Antonio. I've been gone for way too long, but you gotta go, you gotta go.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks presents the March Madness series. I am Adam Banks, joined by my March Madness crew, Jordan Conatser, Zach Hahn, Chad Rainwater. Nice song choice, again, as always, Chad. San Antone, but I'm guessing that's a play off of the city the Final Four will be played in.
you like it?
I do.
I've never heard the song before in my life, but there was I just typed in San Antonio in Spotify, and they gave me like 3 choices. It was this. There was a Willie Nelson song, which I was gonna pick, and then
You
there was
skipped on Willie Nelson?
yeah, it was just too slow. Like this one had a little bit of beat to it, and there was a third one, Garth Brooks maybe, or George Strait, I think.
Who even is this?
Randy Rogers Band.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, the Final Four, it starts this Saturday. Reasonable time, 6:09. There you go, Jordan. You can make at least the first game. Florida and Auburn will kick it off. 2 SEC teams going at it. It could go either way.
Yeah, Auburn's a 2.5 point underdog. In the only meeting they had in the SEC this year, Florida ended up going down to Auburn and as a 8.5 point underdog and winning by 9, which is pretty impressive. Led by 10 at halftime. But yeah, this game can go either way. I mean, both teams fighting for a chance to go to the championship game. I honestly don't care who wins this game. I'd prefer maybe Florida, but I mean, yeah, I think it'll be a really good game.
I think on a talent level, Florida's got Auburn just beat. And I understand Janai Broome was, one of the runners. Did he win National Player of the Year? Has that come out yet? Or
Not sure.
But either way, Janai Broome, one of the best players in college basketball this year. But Florida's got the ultimate talent over Auburn, and Bruce Pearl's never been able to get it done. I think Todd Golden is the future, one of the future biggest coaches in NCAA, and I think Florida just overall has the more talent, and they're going to end up winning this game.
I think Todd Golden, too, this has definitely put his name on the radar. He's going to get coaching offers because of this performance, but I don't see why would you leave Florida. I mean, they're a top 10 program. I think you can't get really any better. I would love to have that job. I would love it.
You leave for North Carolina. That job should be open soon. How is that job not open yet?
Well, he made it to the tournament this year.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on. They barely made it in.
You do leave for a few schools, Kentucky, Carolina. That's about it. Do you leave for Duke?
Do you leave for? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You leave Duke's
Yeah. I mean,
right there at the top. Do you leave for Villanova though?
No, not Florida for Villanova, but I can get behind Duke. What about Kansas? Do you leave for Kansas?
Oh yeah, you got to leave for the for the top blue blood programs.
Why would you
absolutely do.
leave Florida to go to Kansas? I'm just talking about the states here.
Right.
I mean, Gainesville sucks too, though. So
Yeah, but it's not in the middle of Kansas.
I mean that's true. I'm not going to argue with that at all. But Kansas is still the home of basketball.
Yeah, fair enough. And to answer your question, the Wooden Award selection is not for another 10 days. But obviously, Janai Broome is a finalist.
It's either him or Cooper Flagg. That's a thing. So I don't think there's going to be a consensus. It's going to be a mix between them two, bringing home all the National Player of the Year awards. So
Yeah.
So, and who's going to steal Bruce Pearl away from Auburn? Because, again, he's had success. He's proven himself there. Auburn's not he made Auburn into what it is. I know I've heard some people say, oh, he would never leave Auburn. That's a joke. He would leave. He made it into the program they are.
You have to leave Auburn if you're Bruce Pearl and somebody offers you a job. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I want to bring back North Carolina. What are they doing? Who's their coach right now? Hubert Davis?
Yeah.
Like, I understand he played there, but this is the year you go out and you throw your shot and try to get a Bruce Pearl or a Todd Golden or somebody to come and save that program. Because, like you said, Bruce Pearl completely changed Auburn in a season. Changed Tennessee. He put Tennessee on the radar for being a basketball school,
And he's done the same with Auburn.
I mean, it's everywhere everything he touches turns to gold.
And he's a hell of a motivator. He can motivate like no other. And to me, that's a part of coaching.
Is it that, or does he just scream a lot and get really red, and the players are like, "All right,
And sweat
all
a
right,
lot.
Our coach is crazy. Let's just play. Let's go out
Yeah,
there and
it's
play."
just a character.
He is absolutely a character. I like it. I enjoy it. But I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of tired of seeing him around the conference. I wouldn't mind if he went somewhere else.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I think he's happy there.
I think he's the king of the campus.
He's
there.
appreciated there. Houston and Duke tip off at 8:49. Man, again, could go either way. When both teams are hitting, when both teams are playing and firing on all cylinders, it could go either way. That is going. I mean, what a Final Four! I mean, it's all number one seeds. First time since 2008. It's crazy. Let's talk about that for a second. First time since 2008. That just proves how chalky that this tournament was. We talked and kind of laughed about how there was no upsets, and then to end with all number one seeds getting out of their region to the Final Four is just crazy.
I mean, you even look at the Elite Eight. There was 4 1 seeds, 3 2 seeds, and a 3 seed. Like we talked about it in that first episode. It's a very top-heavy league, and I know people might want to disagree with me on this, but the way that NIL and the transfer portal works right now, this is the way the NCAA tournament's going to be from here on out until something along the lines of, how these players are getting paid and stuff like that changes. It's going to be the top teams every year.
Yeah, I was really. I texted in our group chat that I was glad that it didn't turn out to be an all SEC thing, because I think that really would have been kind of the beginning of the end of what makes March Madness special. You can get the all one seeds, and it's fine because you got a couple different conferences in there. There's still some intrigue from that, but geez, I mean, we're almost to the point where it's just all about buying your way in.
Well, I don't know if that's the case, or this year was just an exception. I mean, last year, look, you had North Carolina State in the Final Four. A couple years ago, you had, the upset still happened last year, the year before last. This year was just the only year that there was really no big upsets. But is that the way it's going to be? Or is this just a year you haven't had 4 number one seeds all make it to the Final Four since 2008. So is this just a special year, or is this something we're going to keep seeing?
I still think you're going to see a lot of changes in the transfer portal too. I know there's going to be rulings coming in the next week on the amount of money that these people can get and things like that. So I think that'll also change, and you're going to have teams now, like BYU getting these top players in. It's going to kind of be, I think Gonzaga, if they don't have to contribute to a football program and can dump everything into basketball, I mean, why can't they be one of the biggest powers ever?
Well, because they don't have the football money coming in on the other side.
Well, that's the thing. Well, every college is going to get the same amount of money to spend on sports, except Gonzaga just can dump it all into basketball because there is no football program. Same with Villanova or some of these Big Ten schools that don't have UConn.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in general, like until those rules change, I think this is probably going to be the norm rather than the exception. You'll still anybody can win one game. I think you'll still see some upsets in the first round and stuff. But as far as like making it to the Final Four, it's going to be so hard to see. Like, did George Mason make the Final Four? Somebody crazy like that.
I mean, FAU a couple years ago.
Yeah, FAU,
Loyola Chicago.
like
Loyola, yeah, that was a good one. Sister Jean. Is Sister Jean still
She's
alive?
still alive, 104.
That's awesome.
As far as teams like that winning multiple games, I agree with Jordan. It's just their talent is going to leave, and it's not going to be there for them to make the run.
Let's get our championship game predictions. Zach, we'll start with you. Who do you have in the championship game? And again, give your updated champion if you have one.
All right, so on the bracket competition, I need Houston to beat Florida. That's how I win. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be probably, honestly, like Auburn over Duke is what I would probably actually pick if I was picking it right now.
Auburn over Duke. Auburn winning it all, their first championship.
Yeah, I think Florida their luck's going to run out probably against Auburn, and Duke, I think, will have just enough to get past Houston. Houston's great defensively, but I don't know if they have people to match up against Flagg and Knuppel. And I'll take Auburn over Duke because I just think that Auburn's a special team this year. Like, they really haven't been challenged much at all.
Chad?
Oh, I thought I was waiting for you to follow up with something else other than just my name. I'm gonna stick with my my gut bracket and stick with Florida and Duke. I've talked about it before, but I think Florida, and then I have Florida winning the championship. It's always started with that point guard that gets just real hot at the end of the season, and that's what Walter Clayton Jr. has done for Florida. I mean, you look back with Kemba Walker and Shabazz Napier, UConn point guards, but either way. I think Florida's going to take it home this year, and I wouldn't be mad about that. The only team I really don't want to see win this is Duke. I'm just so sick of hearing about Duke. I mean, everywhere you go, I just hate how they're like the darling of the NCAA, and everybody just loves them.
They're like the Lakers of the NCAA.
Yeah, and I'm so sick of hearing about Cooper Flagg. If I see him doing his little flex one more time, I'm just going to throw a brick to my TV because I hate seeing him.
The thing is, we're like the Celtics, though. So, as a Kentucky fan base, it's kind of like the two biggest faces of college sports.
But it's recently, though. Recently, we haven't done anything. I mean, besides this year, and that's what's killing me is you see Duke's going to the Final Four. Duke's doing this, Duke's doing that. In Kentucky, we're just over here just like, we won the first round game.
Yeah.
We better start doing something because Duke's not slowing down. And how old is John Shire? Like
37.
He's got a solid.
No way.
Yeah, he's 37 or 39. I can't. One of those two.
He's got 30 more years in him. He's gonna. It's the second coming of Coach K.
I mean, I think we have something good here going with Pope. I mean, his first season.
He can't be 37 because the youngest coach was Golden.
I think he's 39 then.
Yeah.
He was.
Well, I thought Golden was 39
when he. He's 37. Isn't that what I said? 37.
So they got that wrong because Golden is 39, and they said that he was the youngest coach in the Final Four. And obviously that's not correct. John Shire is.
Google's telling me he's 33, and I know that's not right. What is happening?
Yeah, Golden's
right
39.
now?
I don't know where you.
This is unprecedented. The internet is lying right now.
Yeah. And, if you read it on the internet, it's true.
Yeah.
Anything you read on the internet is true. So was your championship game Duke and
Florida? And that was my original. I'm going with my gut bracket. If I had to pick, like, I would prefer Houston beat Duke, so I don't have to worry about Duke even having a chance to win the championship. But I'm just going to stick with my Florida Duke because that was the first bracket I filled out 5 minutes after the Selection Sunday show, and I'll stick with it.
with Florida winning.
Florida winning.
Okay, and Jordan, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Chad. It's going to be Florida's going to be able to overpower Auburn, and Duke is just better than Houston. And I'm going to go with Florida just because I cannot pick Duke. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to show up next week if Duke wins. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. This will be my last episode for the year. See you guys next year, and then I hope everybody else can do a little bit more. And I'm Chad. I'm so tired of Duke, and it's there's Duke fans everywhere. Like Zach said, they're the Los Angeles Lakers of college basketball, and I'm so over it.
I'm looking at the forecast for next week, next Wednesday when we have to record. 40 with the 90% chance of rain. So I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Sure.
Yeah,
Duke's
I'm
winning
just,
for sure.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But that's how it's always been.
Well, I'm going to have to go with I had St. John's, taking it.
You can stick with them.
Yeah, you can stick with
I had them
As
taking
long
it.
as they beat Duke.
But they Florida beat them, so I'm going to have to go Florida over Auburn. I'm going to have to go Duke over Houston. Florida winning the national championship, be their third title. It's their year.
I'm okay with that. Of all the SEC teams,
I'm okay.
Yeah, like either or Auburn. I mean, Auburn can get there first. That's fine with me too. Anybody but Duke, please. Anybody but Duke.
Zach, I really hope it for your bracket. I would kind of like to see Houston win though, just because there's no play
I'll
against
stick
us.
with what. Thank you. I'll stick with what I said last week. I do think the Duke Houston game is going to be a good one. I don't think Duke has seen defense like Houston plays it. And maybe that'll get them off. They're pretty freshman dependent. Maybe they'll get them off their game. And who knows? Houston's been hitting big shots in the clutch all year. Maybe they pull it out.
I think Samson deserves it. he deserves a title as well as he's been the past few years. I think he definitely deserves that.
He still won't get credit, though, will he?
No, I don't think so.
People still won't even consider him a top coach if he wins, even though he's relevant all the time.
They'll blame the refs. There'll be some controversy or something like that. Take away from it.
But the Final Four is this Saturday, April the 5th at 6:09 is when it tips off. But, folks, we have one more segment to go, and when we come back, we're going to give our closing thoughts, and we're also going to talk about all of the crazy coaching changes that's happened around the landscape of college basketball. Stick with us. We will be right back.
It's not enough. Few solid left, but it's not enough. You better reach that, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough. I get on there. Yeah, somebody gotta do it. I mean, man. Yeah, somebody.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks presents the March Madness series. I am Adam Banks, joined by my March Madness crew, Jordan Conatser, Zach Hahn, and Chad Rainwater. We've been discussing the Sweet 16 Elite 8 games. We previewed the Final Four, gave you our championship predictions. You know, a tournament we don't really talk about, obviously, because this is the March Madness series and we talk about the NCAA tournament. Has anybody been keeping up with the NIT? Who's winning? Who's dominating there? Has anybody, Zach, I figured that was a tournament that you at least kept your thumb on.
No.
I want to go with NC State. I'm going to say NC State's in the Final Four.
All right, you want to hear the Final Four? Here we go.
Yeah.
We got North Texas against
like,
UC Irvine, which kicks off tomorrow night at 7 p.m. North Texas is a 1.5-point favorite. And then you got Loyola Chicago, Loyola Chicago against Chattanooga, and Loyola is a 2.5-point favorite. And that is at 9:30 tomorrow night.
So they can't even get the times right either. Why are they playing so late? Nobody's going to stay up and watch them.
I don't know, but there's no big teams in this.
I think for like the big, well, first off, you get like 14 teams out of the SEC. There's nobody left to invite to the NIT because I do think you have to have a winning record overall, or at least you used to. And I'm like the big teams that get invited, all their guys are in the transfer portal. They're not playing in the NIT, so that's the only schools that it means anything to.
The only big team I see is Oklahoma State, and they got Stanford was in it.
Was NC State in it? Did they
SMU was a 1 seed. They got beat. No, I don't. Dayton was in there. St. Joe's, which they haven't been relevant in 25 years.
When Kentucky got beat by Robert Morris in the NIT, that was like a sign of things to come as far as the NIT went. Like nobody cares.
Yeah, no, there was no Georgia Tech. There's no SEC schools are in there.
You're gonna talk about the CBI next.
We actually, do you remember you and me going to a CBI game?
Yeah, Eric Musselman and Nevada coming to take on the Morehead State Eagles.
That was a good one.
In I think the first game of the best of 3 CBI championship.
Yeah, and we won that game, Morehead State.
Yeah, I think we lost the 2 in Nevada though.
We did.
Oh, it's a best of 3.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
It used to be. I'm not sure if it's still. If I'm not keeping up with the NIT, I'm definitely not keeping up with the CBI.
Speaking of Musselman, did he do anything at USC this year?
No, they were terrible.
Okay,
so he's probably in the CBI.
Yeah, he'll be back in the CBI.
Yeah, I think at one point in time that was a big tournament. If you look back in the day, I think the NIT was even a big tournament. It was considered more prestigious than what it is. Okay, we have an option here. We could talk about the coaching carousel, or we can save it for next week. I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
How much time do we have left?
We're kind of out of time.
Yeah, let's save it. There's so much time to fill when you only have 3 games to talk about.
All right, we'll save that talk for next week. I mean, we have a lot of coaching changes to talk about. I'm sure there will be more coaching changes that happen this week coming up, so that will just give us more content to talk about when it comes to the coaching carousel. Before we go, let's just give our final thoughts or really just our sign-off remarks. Does anybody have anything that they want to say? Can't say go Cats, but does anybody have any words of wisdom?
Somebody beat Duke.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just as long as someone beats Duke, I'll be fine. I do not want to come here next week and have to celebrate a Duke victory, another championship. That'll just be a horrible day, but I'm not going to get my hopes up.
Well, hopefully Houston's the one that puts them out.
There we go.
Agreed.
All right, folks. Well, that will do it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is airing right now across your airwaves on WLXU 93.9 FM. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 o'clock to wrap up the March Madness series. We'll have a champion at that point. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. I am Adam Banks. Thank you, Jordan Conatser, Zach Hahn, and Chad Rainwater. We will see you next week.
I'm kind of fucking with it, show me some more. We tatted head to toe and give a fuck. The story wrote, you want to tweak it up with me, and I'ma show you.